Hello folks and welcome to Shifting Gears. If I was an artist, this would be my Mona Lisa. This is the Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 Twin. I have always liked the cafe racer format of motorcycles and this bike just strikes the right chord in my heart. Personally, मेरे पास Royal Enfield की Continental GT 535 भी थी. That bike back in the day was just so beautiful that I went out and brought it home. But that bike did not have the right engine. This one does. If you want to buy the Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 Twin, prices are upwards of 3.5 lakh rupees on road here in the Indian market. But I think this flagship motorcycle that Royal Enfield retails justifies that price tag. Let me tell you a story. Currently, I own the KTM 390 Adventure. But that was not my first choice. This was the bike that I wanted to buy. This is the bike that my heart desires. But buying the KTM 390 Adventure was a head over heart decision because that bike has a lot more value proposition than this bike does. But every time I look at this Continental GT 650 Twin, I regret buying that motorcycle because every time I swing a leg on this bike, I am so happy in my heart and in my head too, because I know this is what satisfies my soul. Today with me I have the 2021 paint scheme of this Continental GT 650 Twin. This is the rocker red paint option. आप देख सकते हो रेड पेंट जो है आपको सिर्फ फ्यूल टैंक पे नजर आएगा. Everything else is blacked out. Even the wheels now are blacked out. Now let's talk about the features. सबसे पहले तो look at this fuel tank. Very good looking. Typical cafe racer design, old school and super charming. You have this Royal Enfield branding on the fuel tank and you have this racing stripe in the center which just enhances the look of this fuel tank. It enhances the feel of this fuel tank and it just highlights how long this piece is. Fuel tank पे आप देख सकते हो, you have this chrome finish for the fuel filler cap and this, by the way, comes out completely in your hand. So you will have to hold on to it carefully when you are filling up fuel in this Continental GT 650. Royal Enfield आपको इस बाइक के साथ काफ़ी सारे एक्सेसरीज भी ऑफर कर रहे हैं and you can add all of that to your cart when you are booking this motorcycle. So it gives you a fair idea how your bike is going to look, so that make it yours customization package is actually quite nice because you get to buy everything that you need on day one, so that when you take delivery of your motorcycle, it is ready for you, it is ready to please your soul. And the good thing is सभी parts जो हैं वो Royal Enfield ने test किए हैं, validate किए हैं, so they are built specifically for this motorcycle. सामने से जब आप इस motorcycle को देख लेते हो, you will notice that you get a circular headlamp, but this is now not a glass piece. You get a chrome bezel and you have this blackened finish for this headlamp casing. अगर आप chrome variant खरीदते हो, this section is also in chrome. Then you will notice that the mudguard is in all black. The 18-inch wheels are in black, but these spokes are unpainted. Still, Royal Enfield is not offering you alloy wheels with the Continental GT 650 and also with the Interceptor. I don't know why the brand is taking so long, because people want alloy wheels, because of which you can make the best use of tubeless tires. आपको इस बाइक के साथ ये जो Seat tires मिल रहे हैं, they are of the tubeless type, but because of the spoke trim setup, you will have to put in a lot of effort to fix a puncture. And this bike, by the way, doesn't come with a center stand, a main stand, so it is going to be very, very difficult as well. Come up to the left hand side and you will notice this bike gets bi-bray brake calipers. आपको इस बाइक के साथ steel braided lines भी मिलने वाले हैं. And this Continental GT 650 gets a single front disc brake. ये जो mudguard है, it has a nice extension, so you can notice that this piece is going to prevent from mud splash on the engine and also on your feet. After that, when you look up top, इस बाइक के साथ ये जो आपको हैंडल बार मिल रहा है, this is of the clip-on type, but it is different compared to the Continental GT 535. ये जो reach है ज़्यादा aggressive नहीं है compared to the GT 535, but still it is a tucked in position. This is a sporty riding position because of course that is what it should be, because this is a cafe racer motorcycle and that riding posture is the most engaging posture on a Royal Enfield motorcycle as of date. And I really like it because you are just one with the motorcycle and you can have a lot of fun. ये जो clip on handlebars हैं आप देख लीजिए, you still have extra range left, so if you want to drop it further you can do that. Handlebar पे आपको जो switch gear मिल रहा है, typical, nothing extraordinary over here. You don't even get a hazard lamp function. And these mirrors, by the way, I did not really like it. It is very hard to adjust them, and I insist that अगर आप ये cafe racer खरीदने वाले हो, just pay that extra bit and buy those bar and mirrors because they look the part and I think they will do a better job than what these units do. Then notice this, ये जो clamp है for the handlebar, यहाँ पे आपको Royal Enfield की branding नजर आएगी. And with this bike you are getting an analog speedometer cluster with a small digital display area. So when you twist the key, this is how it starts up. और यहाँ पे ये जो छोटा सा digital display आपको मिल रहा है, you only get an odometer and 2 trip meters along with a digital fuel gauge. Nothing else. You don't get a clock, you don't get a gear position indicator, you don't get distance to empty, you do not even get fuel efficiency data. And that is a missing feature as of date, because if you are offering a motorcycle at this price, such features have now just become a hygiene feature. They are a must-have and people do expect it. Yes, I get it that this is an old school motorcycle. Royal Enfield is staying true to the old school design format, but all those bits are now necessary in my opinion. इस बाइक के साथ अभी भी आपको Royal Enfield का ट्रिपर नेविगेशन मॉड्यूल नहीं मिल रहा है. I think that will come soon because all other Royal Enfield motorcycles are getting it and customers might start to expect it even on this bike, but we will see if that happens. Side panel पे आप देख लीजिए, you have this Continental GT 650 twin branding, a black piece. This is the same on any paint option that you buy for this motorcycle. The engine, look at it, you have this shiny finish on the engine casing. This is going to be very hard to keep clean. You will have to keep polishing it and buffing it so that it stays shiny. And even the Continental GT 535 used to have a lot of stains on this section, and that made cleaning the bike very, very difficult. So this is something that you have to keep in mind. Now this is a 650cc twin cylinder engine, but it doesn't get liquid cooling. It does get oil cooling. So the oil cooler has been positioned over here. The exhaust, just look at it. This is a twin cylinder motorcycle, by the way, so one header to one pipe, and likewise on the other side. The exhaust end can is massive. काफी बड़ा exhaust pipe है ये, and of course it adds a lot of weight and it adds a lot of bulk to the overall motorcycle's design format. You can buy aftermarket exhausts which are sleeker to look at, but then that is illegal and you will be pulled over by the cops, and then either your exhaust will be smashed or you will have to pay a huge fine. Foot pegs जो हैं आप देख लीजिए, you get rubberized finish. Foot pegs पे भी आपको Royal Enfield की branding नजर आती है. This heel plate, you can also buy a black piece if you wish. Engine पे आप देख लीजिए, ये जो छोटा सा piece आपको नजर आ रहा है, this is going to prevent your feet from touching the engine so that your knees don't feel the heat. And everything else is nicely put together. इस बाइक के साथ ये जो आपको सीट मिल रही है, it has a mild step over here for the pillion. आपको contrast stitching यहाँ पे नजर आएगी. You can buy a additional seat cowl for this particular seat. You can buy a touring seat, and you can also opt for the optional single seat, which actually looks the best on this motorcycle. पीछे आप देख लीजिए, आपको जो tail lamp दिया गया है, it is similar to what the GT 535 used to get. The turn indicators are also not of the LED type. आपको इस बाइक के साथ actually कोई भी LED illumination नहीं मिल रहा है, and the turn indicators and this tail lamp housing get these chrome accents. ये जो mudguard extension है आप इसे निकाल सकते हो so that you know when you are not riding it in monsoon you can have your rear tire exposed, and the bike looks very cool when that is off the bike. You will notice that this bike gets conventional shock absorbers. They are gas charged, of course, and even at the back you get bi-brake calipers and you have a disc brake as well. इस बाइक के साथ आपको dual channel ABS मिल रहा है and steel braided lines is actually quite a luxurious feature which you will notice on this motorcycle. The rear rim, again, you can notice finished in black with the spokes being unpainted. I think this looks quite cool on this particular paint option especially. And then when you come to the left hand side, you will notice that this Continental GT gets this sari guard which is necessary here in the Indian market. Now let me swing a leg. मेरी height है 5 feet 8 inches and check this out. When I am on the motorcycle, currently I have both my feet flat on the ground and this is very comfortable. This is very accessible. So अगर आपकी height 5 feet 5 inches भी है, you will be happy and comfortable on the saddle of this cafe racer. When I want to grab onto the bars, I do have to lean forward. This is an aggressive riding posture, but it is not as aggressive as the GT535. Do remember, I did have that motorcycle with me for a year, so this is something that I'm saying with experience. And this is slightly more comfortable than the older bike, but still it is very sporty. And you will notice that the brake and clutch levers are forged, लेकिन यहाँ पे आपको कोई भी adjustment नहीं मिल रही है. The foot pegs are rear set, and check it out. This angle is quite acute and it is sporty as well. So if you are a taller rider, if your lower body is slightly on the longer side, you will feel this section is a little tight. Foot pegs are very ideally positioned, तो जब भी आपको bike move करनी है, they are not going to, disturb your motion, your movement of your feet. Interceptor 650 के साथ those foot pegs really trouble your feet. And then on the left hand side you will notice इस bike के साथ आपको सिर्फ एक toe shifter मिल जाता है. And shifting gears with this toe shifter was not a problem at all, and even finding neutral was an easy task with this motorcycle. Overall, I think this Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 is just a beautiful motorcycle. Of course, you might think that I am biased because I really like this motorcycle, and that is true. But then there is no other bike in the Indian market at this price point which offers you all the modern bits, reasonably modern bits, but with so much nostalgia and something that is so beautiful to look at. And every time you stop at a signal, everyone is definitely going to look at you, especially if you have that single seat with you on this bike. Very quickly, let me tell you everything about the specifications. इस बाइक के साथ आपको 1400 मिलीमीटर का व्हील बेस मिल रहा है. The ground clearance is a very generous 174 millimeters, even with this cafe racer format. The overall length is 2122 millimeters. Width is 1165 millimeters. Height is 789 millimeters. Seat height is 804 millimeters. Fuel tank capacity is 13.7 liters. And the curb weight of this motorcycle is 202 kilograms. Talking about finer details, you can notice that on the telescopic front fork, you are getting a reflector for lateral visibility. आपको fork gaiters भी मिल रहे हैं, which again look the part. Then you will notice that this side panel can be opened easily, and when you do that, check this out. You have your toolkit very nicely tucked in over here. The rear disc brake reservoir has been positioned over here. This is not going to be hit by your feet, so this particular chassis part is going to protect it. And if your pillion is not comfortable with you, is not comfortable with your tucked in cafe racer riding stance, he or she can hold on to this grab rail which is offered to you as a stock part. There are just so many accessories available for this Continental GT 650, so many accessories sold to you by Royal Enfield themselves, that this bike is definitely going to meet your riding preference and it is going to match your personality. If I had to buy this bike, I would buy it in the chrome finish because it just looks smashing in that avatar. अगर आपके और कोई सवाल हैं इस बाइक के बारे में, do ask me. I will try my best to help you out. There is nothing much that is left to talk about this bike because this is a canvas and there is a lot that you can do. And that is the most important bit, because everything is right in terms of the basics, in terms of the bare minimum that you need. And after that, you can do all that you want with this motorcycle. Goodbye. Always ride safe. Subscribe to the Shifting Gears channel. Press that bell icon. Always wear your helmet and follow speed limits.